I will rather burn my voter's card. Bishop Oyedepo speaks on what he would do than vote one presidential candidate. Wow. That is what he's saying, that there's somebody, and instead of him to vote that person, he will burn his card. We don't know who that person is, but let's see what he has to say further. The presiding bishop of the Living Faith Church Worldwide, David Oyedepo, on Thursday said he would rather burn his voter's card than vote for one of the candidates, referring to one of the presidential candidates for the upcoming general election. Bishop Oyedepo, while at the church's annual gathering tagged Shiloh, viewed by millions of people around the world, spoke about a presidential candidate who is among those vying for the presidency despite knowing that he will never win the election. He further mocked the unnamed candidate, saying that he can't even handle his family yet want to lead a nation. He noted that even though they spend $1 billion, they will never sit in the presidency. Hey, now wow. The bishop also stressed that he would rather burn his voter's card than vote a particular candidate among those running for the general election in February. So who is this candidate now? We need to know. All right. The report shows that the front runners for the 2023 general election are Labour Party, Peter Obi, All Progressive Congress, APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and People Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar. The Labour Party flag bearer joined our dignitaries in attendance at the Thursday episode of the program and was introduced alongside other important personalities at the event in Canaan Land, Ota, Ogun State. All right. So now Oyedepo is saying that is a particular candidate he will not vote. And everybody is insinuating, he didn't mention any candidate's name actually, but everybody is insinuating that it's Atiku. He will not vote Atiku because, first of all, power has been in the north for the past 8 years and cannot go back to the north anymore. Coupled with the fact that Atiku is a Fulani, and the Fulani has wreaked havoc in the Christian community across the country and has wreaked havoc, across the country, with their jihad action, fighting to claim Nigeria. So I know that Oyedepo has actually preached against Fulani government, against this Fulani herdsmen, against what is happening from the north, and he has said a lot, and he is vehement and very determined to make sure that anything has to do with Fulani is not part of it. And that is true, because Fulanis have caused a lot of problems. So if you look at his antecedent, look at what has preached in the past, look at his position politically, you know that anything has to do with Fulani, Oyedepo will not put his hand there. All right? Because of the record that we have had about the Fulanis in this Buhari's regime since 2015 to today. The Fulanis have caused us problem. The Boko Haram has caused us problem. They've not been able to handle the insecurity in Nigeria. The Fulanis have gone around farms, killing people, both in the northeast, in the northwest, in the southeast, in the southwest, and even the south-south. All right? The Fulanis are causing problem everywhere with their cattle, wielding AK-47, shooting owners of farmland, Boko Haram, ISWAP everywhere. Buhari said before he came to power 2015 that attack on Boko Haram is attack on the north. And that is why when he entered, when we were telling him about what the Fulanis are doing in the bush, he was urging communities to learn to accommodate the Fulanis because they are also human beings like them. Can you imagine that kind of thing? And what Mark Ban is saying is that those guys are carrying AK-47 because of the way communities used to kill their cattle to eat. That is why they have to carry AK-47 to protect themselves. So now the person that his crop is being damaged, what if he used AK-47? If you see cutlass in his bicycle and his car, the next thing you arrest him because you say he's carrying weapon. But a Fulani man who does not understand is carrying AK-47. How did he get it? All right? I'm sure the owners of those cattle that they are rearing gave them those guns as well. And nobody wants to talk about it. So Oyedepo's position, even though he didn't mention it, we know that it has to do with Fulani. Oyedepo will not be there. Again, if you say power should come to the south like where everybody's agitating, The two Southerners are Peter Obi and Tinubu. So who is Oyedepo going to vote between Tinubu and Peter Obi? So we need to know that now. We need to know whether this Yoruba syndrome is also in his blood. Because all the Yoruba people, a lot of the Yoruba people hate Igbos, just like the Hausas hate Igbos. All right? So we need to know who is going to vote. He will need to tell us, even though he has the right to vote whoever he wants to vote. But as an influential man of that caliber and of that status in the society, all right, he commands a lot of crowd. He commands followers. He commands a lot of things. So whatever he does, that is what everybody will do. The question is, who is he going to vote now? What is his position in the South? Is he standing for Peter Obi or standing for Tinubu? Now, Peter Obi attended the Shiloh on Thursday with them, and they introduced him, and everybody cheered him up. That's fine. But he did not declare his support for Peter Obi there. All right? He didn't declare his support for Peter Obi there. Probably because he knows the political implication if he goes ahead to make categorical statements about supporting Peter Obi. All right? He knows the implication. I know he kept quiet for some political reasons, to be politically safe and secure. All right? But not on his own, we don't know who is going to vote. We don't know who is going to vote. And we need to know that. All right? Let's know whether he's having this Yoruba syndrome, hatred for the Igbos, or he's out like the chief Ayo Adebanjo of Afenifere for Peter Obi. If he goes for Peter Obi, man, his church will double. That's the truth. Because everybody wants the power now to go to Southeast, to go to Peter Obi as a person. And the reason is not because Peter Obi is from Southeast or an Igbo man, but it's because Peter Obi is about the cleanest person compared to the rest candidates vying for the same position in Nigeria. So he needs to tell us where he belongs. Let's see some comments that we have here, that people have put together for sharing. Let's hear people say something. All right? Somebody said, Bishop Oyedepo, if you like, burn yourself. That is your own cup of tea. I have my preferred candidate among the 18 presidential candidates. As an aged person, I will not allow any person to teleguide my conscience. And I love that. That's a very good one. That's what that man is saying. All right? What Bishop is saying is for destruction of unwise like you, Abi. They have taken it spiritual. All right? So what else some other person is saying here is not referring to Tinubu. He is referring that power should not go back to the north, but to the south. Anyway, Jonathan Goodluck, they supported in the church 2015. What happened? Our ways of judgment is different from God's own way. Of course, that's correct. So you can only do your part and leave the rest for God. God will do his own part as well. All right? You cannot blame God for unanswered prayers. He has his own reasons which are not open to your eyes. But you are suffering now. So how will it be now? Can you imagine? Nice one. He even supported Atiku in 2019. So what happened to Atiku then? So what are you saying? Are you saying that anybody he supports does not win? That is not the issue. The issue is that we must vote right come 2023 and we must not be teleguided. We have enough information at our hand now to make our decisions. Sir, you are a very highly respected man of God. We would have appreciated, all right, if that candidate name is mentioned. This could have guided people like us to make up our mind on who to vote. Well, because of his position, he doesn't need to make some categorical statements because politically it will be misunderstood, it will be misconstrued or misinterpreted. Right? If he tells you the name, will you vote for the candidate? All right? Now, Tinubu in the yard, okay? Adults should speak in parable. Can you imagine? He's not talking to parable. He's not talking to Tinubu. He didn't mention any names. Anyway, we're all insinuating. Now, BAT he's referring to. We all know that. Can you imagine? So, BAT cannot handle his own. Now, wow. So, I think that is what Oyedepo is saying, that he will rather burn his voter's card than vote a particular candidate. But he didn't mention a particular candidate. But if we look at his position in the past, we will know that he will not want any Fulani man in power again. And he will also not want power to remain in the north again. And so we are left with two people in the south. Between the two people in the south, Peter Obi and Tinubu, who does he want to vote for? He didn't come clear on that. So let's have your your own opinion and what your take is on David Oyedepo's position.